Hey guys, welcome to today's video. It's gonna be a long one. Just grab a drink, take a seat, have some snacks, because we're talking all about why I give my snakes UV. This video is all about why I give my snakes UV. Now, I'm not wanting it to be too long, so I'm going to try and keep it very basic, but informative and not boring. So let's hope Kat can do this. I've got they were my notes. That is a sign of how this video is going to go. Just bear with. Now, UVB is a source of vitamin D3. Now, every single reptile needs vitamin D3 in order to metabolize calcium. If they don't, they will end up with MBD, known as metabolic bone disease, and if you don't know what that is and you're not very familiar, try and think of it as rickets for reptiles. So, in other words, it sucks. Now, MBD, metabolic bone disease, is so easy to avoid. But if you don't give your animal the correct husbandry, it's going to happen. And I work at a rescue and I see it all the time. Now, one thing you're going to be saying to me is, Kat, snakes can't get UV. Shh, shh, shh. Yes, they can. Now, no, you don't need to supplement your snake's food like you would a bearded dragon or a tortoise or a uromastic or even a leopard gecko. You sprinkle calcium on their veg or their bugs, and that is you giving them more calcium. Obviously, reptiles in the wild would be getting minerals and vitamins from the earth, substrate, soil, you know, all that jazz, and they don't get that in captivity because we give them stuff that we have made in a factory. So that's why you have to add calcium to their food. Now with snakes, they get that calcium from the bones of their prey. So no, you're good on the calcium part, but what about the D3? Now with bearded dragons, no one has a problem with giving lizards UV, and that's great because they need it, but so do snakes. People don't have a problem giving bearded dragons UV, so they give them their calcium, they give them their UVB, and hopefully as long as they keep up to date with changing their UV, that beardy is going to be free from MBD. But with snakes, where are they getting their vitamin D3 from? Now, some people will say snakes get vitamin D3 from the organs of their prey. Now, this is true in the wild. In captivity, because we have frozen rodents that we defrost for our animals and then feed, there is no way of measuring how much vitamin D3 is in the animal, if there is any. So in order to be like, I know I'm giving my snake vitamin D3, the best thing to do is give them UVB. I really apologise for that rhyming. But yes, giving them UVB just ensures that your animal is always going to have access to that and access to vitamin D3, meaning their body is going to be properly metabolizing constantly. People believe that snakes don't need any lighting in their enclosure. Now, if you're not going to give them UV, at least give them some sort of LED, because imagine sitting in a box, a black dark box, all day, every day, maybe coming out for a stretch. That's it. It's just not fair. Everyone went crazy when SeaWorld put orcas in that tiny little black enclosure for 2 weeks to calm them down before they train them for doing tricks and whatnot. So why are we okay with snakes living in drawers and black tubs with no lighting? It just doesn't seem to make sense. So I've rambled on about giving your animals UV. They have access to it in the wild, so why not give it to them in captivity? Now let's talk about the benefits of UVB other than the fact you're avoiding a really horrible disease, MBD. The benefits are they help reptiles neurologically. They help them with their vision. They help them with their appetite. They help them with their digestion. They help them with the actual colours of the animals. The animals' colours will appear brighter with the correct lighting. And finally, this one actually kind of makes me sad to think about, but when you give reptiles UV, they can see a whole other spectrum of light than we can, and that means that is hundreds of shades and colours that we are depriving them of seeing if we don't give them UVB. Now, it actually makes me sad to think there's animals out there that can't see properly. Like, they can see, but they can't see all like the details basically, and that can take effect on an animal. Obviously, reptiles do not have the same emotions as we do as people, but they do experience fear and discomfort. Now, if I was an animal and I was in a black box, I'd be pretty pissed. not gonna lie. So, let's talk about royal pythons, because royal pythons, or ball pythons in America, they are one of the most common snakes that we struggle to get people to use UVB with. And when I say we, the rescue where we work, in order to rescue an animal, you have to have UVB in the enclosure. Now, royals are nocturnal and they live in burrows. So, just because the animal is nocturnal and lives in a burrow does not mean it shouldn't ever have access to the proper lighting. When they are in burrows, they can still bask. A reptile, or a snake in this instance, can just stick his little tail out of the hole of their hide, and believe it or not, that is them basking. Reptiles have adapted, their skin has adaptations to absorb UV in a way that they can use. It's amazing what they have evolved into, and then we put them in captivity and we're like, don't use that. Why does that make sense to some people? So, if you did want to give a royal UV, my only tip would be make sure they have loads of hides, make sure they can get away from it. I'm not saying put UV in your animal's tank and just turn it on 24 hours and they have to sit there under this light that they won't like. No. Give them access to it. If they can have access to the wild, why can they not access it in captivity? If they don't want to be near it, they'll go hide, as long as you supply them hides and substrate and bark and leaves and whatever. But yeah, just because you put UV in an animal's tank does not mean the animal is like stuck under this light forever. No, put hides under there, put it on a timer, 24-hour cycle, 12-hour cycle. Stuff like that. My royal python is out right now, and she's climbing at the moment, but she was basking and I kind of wish I filmed it. I might try and get some clips of the snakes basking. Rambled on about UV, I've got emotional about UV. It's just such an important topic to me, and until you read into it and actually take the time to learn about it, you're probably gonna just be like, it's not needed. But the second you learn about it, you're like, why are we not doing this? Why is not everyone doing this? So one suggestion I will give is Arcadia sell a book by John Courtney Smith, and I think I have it. Give me 2 seconds, I'm gonna grab the book. Courtney Smith, he works for Arcadia. Now he's brought out this Elements series. This is book number 1, and then he's also bringing out Earth, Water and Wind, I believe. But this one is Fire, aka Sun, and it basically is about the sun's use and replication in reptile keeping, and this book is such a good read. It is very more scientific compared to the MBD one, which is just more explaining like how to avoid MBD and the importance of UVB. But this one is just fabulous. Like, you know how to get the best out of it. Like, this book is honestly so good. To be fair, all of John Courtney Smith's books are amazing, but this one is the one I will forever suggest. Yeah, I can't praise this enough. And John Courtney Smith works for Arcadia, so I believe you can get these books from Arcadia. If not, I'll try and find a link and put it in the description. Yeah, that's me rambling on about UVB. It really does make a difference, and it's not expensive. Honestly, it's not that expensive to add a little UVB bulb in their enclosure. You change it once a year if it's T5, every 6 months if it's T8. With snakes, you can use either T5 or T8 because snakes don't need as high as a percentage, whereas if you've got a bearded dragon, I do suggest you changing to T5 if you haven't already. But let's talk about some of my favourite UVB bulbs, and I'll go into what snakes have what kind of UV. So my 2 royal pythons, they have shade dwellers, as well as my frog and my tokay here. So let me just grab one and show it to you. So here it is. So here is the kit. This is one kit, and it's I believe £40. So you get the bulb, which literally is so easy. It's quite hot, but you literally just twist it in as well as out. Now that's super hot, so let me just pop that back. And you literally twist it on and it doesn't fall out. Literally, this can just sit on top of an Exoterra, which is amazing for frogs and geckos because it's got mesh on the top, so it will filter through the UV, so it won't make it as intense. But if you was putting this in a Viv, there's 2 clips that you screw into the top of the Viv and you just click it in and you are good to go. You then have a little wire here for the power, but you also have one here so you can connect multiple UVs to one plug. So my tokay gecko and my frog are both connected by the one plug, and then there's just a joining wire there. But these are honestly amazing. Like I said, they come with a reflector, and you can get, you can also get cages for them. Woohoo! So this is one for a shade dweller because my royal python loves to twist the bulb every night. But you can get these lamp guards for UVs, and you can get them for shade dwellers, T8 and T5. So if you're worried about your snake pulling down the UV, you can grab one of these. And this was 12 quid, so not expensive at all. Let me just pop my gecko's UV back on. So as you can see, both the UVs have come back on, and it was literally just one wire. They're great. Nayoka is like out and about, and I love it. She's so cute. So yeah, those shade dweller kits are what I would use on a royal python tank. If it's bigger than 3 foot, I would probably suggest getting a T5 kit, just like those. It's just like a giant, it's literally a giant one of those, and you can get that in 6%, I believe. So if your Viv is bigger than 3 foot, I would suggest getting not a shade dweller, but you can also use T8. T8's a little bit cheaper because it's the older version of UVB lighting. If you was using T8, I would suggest a 10% bulb for a snake. However, the percentages of the UV bulbs I am suggesting does vary on, like obviously if you have a snake all the way from Australia, if it's in an arboreal setup, if it's got a mesh top, if it's higher than 2 foot. All those things will depend on the percentage of your UV, so make sure you look into that. And so the next topic I want to go on to, I really feel like I'm going to trigger a lot of people, but you cannot put UV for snakes in a tank, I would say less than 18 inches. If it's 15 inches, I mean you could possibly, but I wouldn't do less than 18 inches. So this means rubs, racking systems, no. You can't put UV on them. You can probably try, but you don't want it to be too close to the animal. You want your animal to be able to get away from it. And in rubs, I don't think they're big enough to have a gradient, a heat gradient, and a UV gradient. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that. If you got a rub, you can't give UV. And what would you rather? Would you rather have like 20 snakes stacked up, or would you rather have 5 snakes in amazing vivs with UV, thriving, not surviving? That is a main thing. If you don't give your snakes UV, they're surviving. If you give your snakes UV, they're thriving. Why? Because they are using their adaptations. Yeah. Hopefully I've covered it all. If not, I will add some notes throughout this. But yeah, this video was not supposed to be me digging on anyone that doesn't give their snakes UV or anyone that keeps their snakes in rubs. This is just why I give snakes UV, and I'm hoping you guys will be interested in learning a little bit more, doing your own research, or even think about giving your own snakes UV. Test it. Try, if you've got like 30 snakes, try it with one and then just see what happens. And when I say try it, I'd say leave it for like a month, and just see what happens, see the difference, as well as see the difference of putting a snake in a viv as opposed to a rub. But that's a story for another day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I am so hot. I've just finished building a bioactive enclosure for my frogs, which I will be filming like a meet my frogs video, so look out for that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below a video you'd like to see next week, and yeah, thanks guys for listening. I'm just really nervous that I came across bad in this video, but yeah, someone had to say it. Bye guys.